Showtime is here, no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know. Now it's showtime.
If you're gay, that's okay. Come on in, it's not a sin, 'cause it's time for This Gay Week. Why not open with a show tune? It is time for This Gay Week with Scott Jacobsen from the Good Man Project. Right after this, we will be here to tell you what.
Now it's showtime.
Well, it is that time again for This Gay Week. Happy Thursday, July 16th. So very glad you are joining me. So very glad Scott is able to join me from Kiev, Ukraine. And here he is in the Slava. He's wearing is this a Ukrainian bandana you're wearing today? Are you Slava
No,
Ukrainian?
this is from when I used to work at the horse farm. I cleaned stalls in the morning, and it was quite dusty.
Thought you were joining ICE there for a moment. Covering your face and all.
I mean,
so yes, all right. So let's begin. I do have show tunes on. Well, okay. So I was scrolling through Instagram. One of my posts has gone viral for me. It's gotten over 45,000 views about cyclospora, which you guys aren't worrying about over there. It's only over here. But this parasite that's running rampant in our food, and I guess. Scott, it's so amazing to me. The hateful comments. All my video said was, here's what you should eat, here's what you should avoid, to try to avoid having the shits for 2 weeks. The negative, horrible comments underneath. And these are the same people who didn't want to wear masks during COVID. These are the same people, who just doubt any kind of science. So much so that other commenters are saying, the guy's just trying to tell you how not to get sick. Why are you being so despicable? But they are. They're absolutely horrendously despicable. And it just shows me that the United States is filled with terminally stupid individuals. And I'm getting really sick of being here and really sick of having to live around these people because every day the terminal stupidity rears its ugly head. I just saw Erica Kirk from Turning Point USA, from a Turning Point rally, say if a trans person or a gay person or any person gets in your face and they're, annoying you and they're talking bad about Charlie and everything else, you are a warrior and you have every right. So basically she's inciting violence, which is ridiculous. And then we, of course, have what Trump did yesterday for no reason other than he can. And that he's got Biden Tourette's, so anything that Biden did, he's just got to undo. The Trump administration announced yesterday that they are formally ending Biden-era LGBTQ foster care protections. Now, these were introduced in 2024, and they required child welfare agencies receiving federal money to identify designated foster placements equipped to meet the needs of LGBTQ young people. In other words, let's not put the gay kids with the MAGA family. Let's not put the gay kids with the uber religious family. Who are going to send them to reparative therapy or beat them or whatever. And now Trump says, nope, let's not do that anymore. It's just whatever, wherever they land, they land. And this is wrong on so many levels. First of all, a lot of kids end up in foster care that are gay because their parents threw them out because they were gay. So now you're going to take kids who have already been marginalized by their biological parents and put them with God knows whom, because now the law that said you had to protect them, which it's called Child Protective Services, you had to protect them from foster care parents who may not be receptive to LGBTQ youth. Now that rule is gone. And so once again, tens of thousands of gay foster kids will be put into danger because they could end up in homes that either think they need to be repaired or think that, anti-trans, whatever it might be. This is going to hurt children from the party that claims everything is about the children. This is going to marginalize children from a party that, again, says we must protect children from drag queens. This is going to harm people, and I hate it. I hate that he's got 2.5 more years. I hate that he's trying to, Thursday night, he's going to try to subvert the election by going out on TV and saying that 2020 was illegitimate, and he has, documentation that it was fake and that foreign governments interfered. Which, if that's the case, then how do we know that he won? He never thinks these things through. He's going to go out and say the 2020 election had interference and was illegitimate, but he never stops to think, well, then that calls into question his victory. But that's because he's stupid. And now they're picking on gay kids again just because they can. So I will talk about that and more with Scott, who is in Ukraine, not with a bandana from Ukraine, but with a bandana from the horse farm. As soon as we come back.
If you're not visiting reallykarel.com daily, you're missing out. Get the podcast, videos, and the blog, including recipes at reallykarel.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know.
It is This Gay Week with Karel and Scott Jacobsen from the Good Man Project and Rabble and other places. He is in Ukraine. Before we get to that story that I just said, how are things in Ukraine? Are you good? What's going on?
We're in the middle of a minor heat wave relative to standards of temperature around here. In terms of bombing or bombardments, there's been not many in the way of what we've experienced in terms of the major bombardments I've referenced in some of the other sessions that we've done. But so far, so good. I just held a national news event based on what they call the Berkeley Protocol, which is adopted at the United Nations now, and sort of a premise legally to turn regular news content and sift it through a process to see what is and what is not up to a standard of legal admissible evidence to things like the International Criminal Court or the General Prosecutor and so on. And so I brought in various experts, worked with an organization that I'm working with now at a legal hub, and it went off great without a hitch. And so there's been a lot of events and things like that.
Well, the bigger
lately.
question, did you go to Pride? It was last week.
No, I did not, unfortunately.
You could have gone out and gotten us all kind of great audio at Key of Pride, and you were off dealing with the International Criminal Court, which, by the way, 3 days ago, our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, said that we should leave, that we should not be a member of the ICC, and that it's a useless body.
Because it's no longer politically expedient for him.
Because he's afraid his boss is going to be convicted of war crimes. And he should know all about useless bodies. He sits in a cabinet meeting surrounded by them. So there we have that. So back to the gay story that Trump felt a need to do. If there wasn't a need for this law, for this rule, it wouldn't be there. In other words, if Biden and his administration hadn't found a reason that this was needed, they wouldn't have made the law. And other countries paid attention when we did it. And they themselves then said, oh, maybe we need to look at our foster care systems and make sure that gay kids are being matched with good families. I'm now afraid that because he's, backslid, that other countries will go, oh, well, maybe we don't need to do it anymore either. And that just puts gay youth in trouble. So
there's a pretty straight line from prevention of proper placement into a family that is accepting and healthy, and simply taking off all the guardrails.
Okay, let's go to more. You know what? I'm not going to search for your email. Tell me a story, and I'll tell you what it means.
With there's been quite a few. There's two interesting ones around news. GLAAD found that 46 of 225 major studio films released in 2025 included LGBTQ characters, approximately 20.4%. None reportedly featured a transgender character. The findings indicate that recent corporate retreats, as we've discussed many times, from diversity initiatives are becoming visible on screen, not merely in boardroom memos. So this is your area of expertise.
Isn't it, though? Because I'm in the entertainment industry. Let me first tell you, Hollywood likes to think of themselves as innovators or boundary pushers. They're not. They can be. There's a few cases where they are, but for the most part, Hollywood likes to play it safe because they like money. So society likes gays. Let's throw gays in movies. Society icks on the gay. Let's take gays out of movies. You know, there was a great cartoon called The Jetsons when I was growing up.
Yes.
And they had a maid, a robot maid. And one day she was making fun of Miss Jane, the daughter. And she goes, Miss Jane in love. Miss Jane out of love. That's Hollywood with gays. President likes gays. President doesn't like gays. So that is, you know, they're in the money business. And that's sad. Now, here's an interesting point of fact. One of the biggest success stories of the year is the film Obsession. Have you heard about it?
Yes, I have.
The
But I
horror
don't know
movie
the full
where
story.
he makes the wish on the willow branch that says, I wish that she only cared about me. And then she only cares about him and becomes, you know, obsessed. And it's sort of a Me Too movie because he takes away her consent because, you know, he makes her have no willpower. But all of this. But guess what? Both those leads are from the queer community. Now, they're playing straight in the movie, but they're both from the queer community. So the notion that gays can't make money in Hollywood is blown out of the water by that movie alone. Okay, that's the first thing. Second of all, and most importantly, every film from the past, when we were at 25, 30, 35% of movies having gay characters, all those movies made money. So in this instance, Hollywood is actually not following the money. Because every successful, let's say streaming, look at Euphoria, one of the biggest shows streaming. Lots of gay leads. Lots of gay sex, lots of gay leads. So there are a lot of films out right now that are doing very well that have gay characters. There are some that don't do so well, but that's because they're bad movies. RuPaul's Stop That Train was a crappy movie. I mean, a comedy should have to be funny. You know, so I'm serious. I mean, it's not that I just am not fond of RuPaul. I watched it as someone who loves like The Great Escape or The Long Train, or I grew up on the movies that's parodying. From the 70s, you were not around, but there were a bunch of movies that were on television or in the theaters, The Great Race, where they took all these huge movie stars of yesteryear, Tony Curtis, Ethel Merman, whatever. They took all these big stars that were big stars. They're not maybe big stars at that moment, but they used to be. And they would put them in these really campy setup movies, like A Great Race Across the United States in old jalopies, or A Train That Wouldn't Stop, or whatever. I mean, and you know, all the airport movies. I mean, come on, Airport 75, Airport 76, Airport 77. You know, there was always these former movie stars who were in them, and they were great fun. And they were parodied very well by Zucker, who did the movie Airplane, which was a parody of all of those movies and was brilliant. Stop That Train wanted to be that. Wasn't. But other movies where there are LGBTQ people in them are doing well. So the notion that they had to cut back is ridiculous. They did it to curry favor with Donald Trump. Hollywood still wants to curry favor with Donald Trump. And subsequently, they're not pushing the, you know, and it's not, when I say Hollywood, let's be real. There is no more Hollywood. There's like 5 companies. And as the lawsuit's underway right now to stop the Paramount Warner Brother merger, you know, there's really 5 companies that you can work for. And those 5 companies, most of them are owned by billionaires that know Trump or investment funds that rely on Trump. And so they're not in the Trump piss-off business. So they did the ixnay on the gay thing for their bottom line. Not because the public wasn't wanting the films, not because the public wasn't enjoying the films. but it's just they want to curry favor.
And a footnote to that, we've talked about this also before. Trump never had an issue before.
No.
This was when his political career came in.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Trump
there's a
doesn't care
very
about gays.
singular
Trump hung around gays
through
his
line
whole
here.
life. He lives in he lived in New York. You can't swing a dead cat in New York without hitting a gay person, and if you do, they'll be pissed. But you know what I'm saying. I mean,
Yeah, I was there. I was there a couple years ago
right?
for 2 weeks.
You can't. New York is filled with gays, and so no, he never. Trump only cares about himself, and he only cares about where the wind is blowing. And he found that anti-gay sentiment works well for him. So suddenly he does it. Like yesterday, he had no reason. This law for the foster care doesn't cost him anything, okay? It's not like it's going to save him $10 billion. He had no reason to do this other than Joe Biden enacted it. Biden lives so rent-free in his head, and his followers have such Biden Tourette's. Even under the post I talked about that I posted about the cyclospora, they're all, well, Biden this, Biden, Biden, Biden. I mean, they literally have Biden Tourette's. So Trump only cares when it's, if suddenly MAGA embraced the gays, Trump would suck dick. I mean, so it's, it's,
Don't tell Melania.
well, God knows no one can suck his. I mean, it's, mushroom size and this big, according to Stormy Daniels. Okay, next.
Let's do one more film one. So there's been so luxury brands increasingly recruit actors from Korean, Japanese, and Thai boys love and girls love dramas. So the trend is showing there's more international reach of queer Asian entertainment, but as we've noted in other sessions, there's an increase in censorship and limitations on legal rights in those self-same countries. So there can be some areas where entertainment can still hold at least a little bit steadfast, or at least in terms of the interest in the
but
communities and
Asian
stories.
countries aren't a good gauge because, my God, every Asian man looks gay. So, I mean, every K-pop star looks like a queer. I'm true. I'm not. Now, look, I'm they just do.
I'm not saying you don't have a point.
Right. I mean, come on. Have you seen BTS? I mean, come on.
Okay, I remember. Okay, this going back a bit, but
I mean, there's a
working at
whole
the
joke,
pub.
gay or Asian. There's a whole joke, gay or Asian, and they show photos. And it's like,
I believe you. There was a lady, one of the old manners at the pub. I remember she was doing hours and everything after regular hours, and then she had her computer and she's on her little keyboard, and then had her phone open, and it was just BTS playing. 55-year-old Europe Canadian woman.
My radar is finely tuned, but when I go to Europe or Asia, it just goes bonkers because it's like Italian men. They're all freaking gay. I mean,
You've gone over gay Bermuda Triangle?
Kind of, yes. I mean, and then South Korean K-pop stars. Every single one of those kids, gay, looks gay. Gay, 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 gay. Beautiful faces, perfect porcelain skin, fantastic moves. It's like, you're gay. But they can't say it because then they wouldn't have all the screaming girls. I've never understood it. But it is.
Might have the Enrique Iglesias moment.
Entertainment can make a difference in some ways. I mean, look, I didn't like the show, but Will and Grace did a lot for the gay community. I didn't like it, and now when you look at it, it's dated and bad. But actually at the time in the 90s, the same-sex marriage fight was going on at the same time Will and Grace was airing. And many, a sociologist will tell you, that it actually helped. It helped us win same-sex marriage in many states. This is when it was doing it on a state level, not the federal level, but on a state level. It helped us win in many states because, well, gays can't be that bad. There's Will, there's Jack, I like them. So yes. Soap, the show Soap, had a character named Jody, played by Billy Crystal, who ends up being trans. But this is the 70s, and there was a gay character on television. Was it well written? No. And if we go back and look at today's standards, but was it helpful? Yeah, because even though it was bad visibility, it was at least visibility. So you're right. Entertainment can make inroads in places and in subtle ways, even just in commercials or, that sort of thing. As I said before, though, Hollywood just goes with it. If Hollywood knew there was multiple of millions of dollars in making gay cinema, they'd remake every Disney movie with queer leads. Oh wait, they already are. Never mind. I mean, come on, Jafar, hello. But whatever.
A great character, by the way.
Yeah, well, all gay characters are, huh? Name one good gay character. Name one bad. Is there a gay villain? I can't even think of a gay villain. A lot of the villains in Disney movies are kind of gay. They're emperors or they're this or they're that, and they're very, effeminate and very, but they never say they're gay.
Yeah,
Ursula, she might be a lesbian, and outside of being an octopus.
Cruella de Vil.
She's a gay icon, not a gay villain. She's an icon. And
I'll take that.
Cruella de Vil, as we now know from the movies, was misunderstood.
What happened in the new ones?
Haven't you seen the live action movies?
No.
You haven't seen the live action 101 Dalmatians?
Tell me. I've seen clips, but I don't recall.
Cruella's parents were killed.
Patreon is the way to show you care. Subscribe today if you dare. Keep the show on there. Patreon is the way. Now it's showtime.
Okay, so Cruella de Vil's parents were killed by Dalmatians. Okay, at the behest of a villain. And that's why everyone thinks that she hates Dalmatians. In the movies, she doesn't hate Dalmatians. In fact, she has several as pets. In the movie, what's her name? It's not Glenn Close. Who is her boss? It's Emma. Oh, God, I'm forgetting. Her boss in the movie is actually the villain. She is a fabulous fashion designer who gets taken advantage of by this evil boss. If you watch the live action movies, Cruella de Vil, yeah, she does turn into like a villain, but she's really not a villain. She's just someone who's been treated very badly who finally snaps. And in the movies, she doesn't kill Dalmatians. They soften that. She doesn't, she does make a Dalmatian coat, but it's faux. It's faux fur. It's not real Dalmatians. So yeah, you got to watch the movies. Cruella is misunderstood. Okay, like many villains, she's misunderstood.
Didn't they do that in the Broadway play, or at least the play version recently of Wicked? Isn't that there's a follow-up?
In Wicked, she's not. In Wicked, Elphaba, the green one, who they say is wicked, the Wicked Witch, quote unquote. She's not wicked. Wicked is really an allegory for our times. She discovers the man behind the curtain, Donald Trump, has no real power, and that he's lying to everybody, using and manipulating everybody, including the monkeys that he's keeping prisoner to do his dirty work. She frees the
flying monkeys.
Right, flying monkeys. She frees the monkeys, and he vilifies her because she knows the truth about him. And in Wicked, they show that her sister, Ariana Grande, is in on the whole thing. She knows what's really going on. And she ends up marrying the Jonathan Bailey character as well. So the Wicked Witch. She's not wicked. The Wicked Witch is not wicked in The Wizard of Oz. The Wicked Witch is the one that is vilified because she knows the truth. Look at today. Anyone that speaks the truth about Donald Trump is vilified. It's right out of Wicked. This is nothing he's done is new. So yeah, no, she's not in Wicked. There is no Wicked Witch. In fact, in Wicked, you kind of frown on Glinda because she goes along with everything to be famous and to be accepted and to be well liked and to be loved. So she compromises her morals. Elphaba doesn't. She won't compromise her morals. She won't go along with it because she's given the chance. Just shut up about this and you'll have all the riches in the world. And she's like, no. And besides, I can fly and he can't. And out the window she goes. So actually, Wicked, the good witch, isn't so good. And the bad witch is not bad. But yes, it's a gay play. It's we own that play. That's that's our play.
I think I went to Universal Studios in high school with our drama and acting class. I think we may have gone and see that. Yeah.
Well, there's proof right there that you're straight if you haven't seen Wicked. I mean,
No, we saw it. We went and saw the play. We were,
okay.
way
I
back
saw
in
it
the day.
with
yeah.
Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth.
Aren't
And
you just
that was
famous?
That was some. Well, they originated the roles. That's who were the first people on Broadway. But they were wonderful. And yeah, we're doing this gay week and we're talking about Wicked. If you don't like it, so freaking what? But, it beats all the because things that gay people like when it comes to cinema. A lot of the movies that we iconify, if I'm sure that's not a word, but you know what I mean. I'm doing Sarah Palin.
It's enough of a word for me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you knew what it meant, and the object of language is to communicate.
Exactly.
Sure. The movies that we emulate, that we like to put on a pedestal, often have deep sociological meaning. Sometimes they don't.
Yes.
Sometimes they're just good fun. But The Wizard of Oz, which was the source material for Wicked, has very deep sociological meaning. And Munchkins, which are politically incorrect now. And so that and Wicked we glommed onto, I believe, because of their message. And the message is, don't believe the man behind the curtain, particularly if they're trying to tell you to hate others. Also in Wicked, they vilify the educated, which is what Donald Trump is doing. The animals were educated. They could speak. They could talk. They were educated. But because of the wizard punishing them, they stopped talking and they went underground and they left Oz because they were frowned upon for their education. Does any of this sound familiar? So there's a lot of themes in that. I mean, all of our movies, the young gays don't remember like Whatever Happened to Baby Jane or All About Eve. But those movies have a lot of deep meaning, embedded in them, particularly for gay culture. They speak to the marginalized.
Here's a trivia question. In the interview with Errol Morris that was brief with Mr. Donald Trump, what was Trump's favorite movie?
Knowing Donald Trump, I'd say The Wizard of Oz.
Citizen Kane.
Oh, well, he wanted to be the William Randolph Hearst character.
Yeah. Well, and ironically, he's become this. Probably may become it eventually. The protagonist, this isolated character.
What was? Do you want a better trivia question from that movie? What was Rosebud?
What is it?
Now, in the movie, it's a sled, but what was it in real life?
What was it in real life?
It was the thing that infuriated William Randolph Hearst so much that he blocked the movie, wouldn't let it be advertised in his newspapers, and wouldn't let it play in his theater.
Really?
Rosebud was what he called Marion Davis, the woman he was having an affair with. That's what he named her clitoris. And Orson Welles found out and put it in the movie. And that just infuriated her so much that he banned it from his newspapers, from his theaters. He wouldn't let it be seen. He tried to blackball Orson Welles and anybody that was in the movie, all because Rosebud, one of the center phrases of the movie, was actually his nickname for his illegitimate lover's clitoris. Don't try to one-up a queen on movie trivia, honey. Just don't even go. Just don't even try.
This is your area. This is amazing. I love that. Okay. Next news.
University of Kansas threatens transgendered employees over bathroom use. I don't want to go into that story. I just want to say if you're trans, please piss out in front of the bathroom. Go on. What do you want to do?
Senegal's anti-LGBTQ.
Oh, wait. I think we're taking a break. I think we are.
It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Karelcast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Karelcast. Driving you home or driving you crazy. It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. yours. Listen daily to the Karelcast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Karelcast, driving you home or driving you crazy.
All right, we are back on This Gay Week with Scott Jacobsen, and he's going to tell me some horrible thing from Senegal. Please go ahead.
So more than 100 people have repeatedly been detained amid enforcement of Senegal's expanded anti-LGBT law, which increased the maximum punishment for same-sex relations to 10 years. Testimony describes arrests based on messages, photographs, and personal associations alongside family violence and pressure to undergo conversion practices. So it rears its ugly head once more. Thoughts?
I can't wait until a democratic regime comes in the United States and tells these African nations, you keep this shit up, we're cutting you off from everything. Because that's what will happen. And I can't wait till that happens. Right now, it is financially beneficial for Senegal and others to continue down this anti-gay. And by the way, I looked this up about African culture. African culture prior to slavery and even during slavery did not really care about LGBTQ people. In fact,
correct.
some of their gods or deities were either unisex, two sexes, so in various different African cultures, they just didn't care about the gay. It wasn't until the introduction of the West, religious values, and the West money, that they started to care and go to the negative. Just like Hollywood, Africa will swing to the positive when it comes to gays when it benefits them financially to do so. And it's going to take a democratic regime in the United States to say to Senegal and other nations, you can have that policy, but if you do, we're simply not going to do business with you. And they'll change their tune because they don't really mean it. Because the gays are the easy scapegoats, we're the easy target, but they don't have conviction behind it. They could care less. They're doing it for another purpose, either for votes in their parliament or votes from their people or whatever. So they're either doing it for votes or they're doing it for cash. But they don't really care about trans people and they don't really care about gay people. Donald Trump really doesn't care about gay kids in foster care. He could care less about gay kids in foster care. All he cared about was there was a rule that Joe Biden made and I must repeal it. So a lot of the hatred that is heaped upon our community isn't even real hatred. You know, I always said, I'll give it to the Turner Burners like the Jerry Falwells. At least they mean what they say. You know, they are fully committed to their hatred. They believe it. They're, what's her name? Oh, that bitch. Erica Kirk. She doesn't really care about trans people. She looks like a drag queen. So she certainly doesn't care about drag queens. It's financially expeditious for her to care. So she does. When it becomes... In America and the world, I will tell you as a 63-year-old gay man what I have observed. When it becomes detrimental to a government figure, a government, or a state to be anti-gay, when it costs them votes or it costs them money, they change their tune. Period. Just end of story. Which means they don't really have the courage of their convictions. They're just doing it for ulterior motives. A lot of gay hatred is just for... No one gives two fucks about trans people in the world. Nobody. 10 years ago, if you had asked people, are trans issues high on your list of issues? I guarantee you less than 1% would have said yes. The other 99% would have said, no, what do I care what a trans person does? But now, it's right up there in the top 10 with climate change and... Well, I wish climate change were in the top 10. It's right up there with whatever the idiots MAGA and the rest of the right-wing conservatives across the globe actually care about. Africa should worry about water. They should worry about feeding their people. They should worry about the economic status of their people. I've seen Senegal, not a place you want to go. They should care more about 100% of their people instead of discriminating against less than 10% of their people. But they don't. And they don't because, again, I believe it's financially expeditious for them, or they're gaining votes, they're gaining points in government. We'll continue talking about the horrors on this gay week. I said horrors, not horrors. I'm the only people here. But we'll continue talking about this with Scott Jacobsen live from Ukraine on this gay week on the Karel Show. So don't go anywhere at all because you only got like 30 seconds. What are you going to do
If you're not visiting reallykarel.com daily, you're missing out. Get the podcast videos and the blog, including recipes, at reallykarel.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know.
All right, it's This Gay Week with Scott Jacobsen and Karel. And in a piece of good news, a judge in the United States has temporarily blocked subpoenas and criminal probe of transgendered care at a New York hospital, citing HIPAA laws. You know, we can't figure out if Mitch McConnell is alive or fucking Weekend at Bernie's because of HIPAA laws. And yet, I mean, truly, did they prop him up in the bed? I mean, what? But yet we can find out everything about kids and transitioning and and get this. Oh, get this. You can Google this as I say it. Google this. Mm-hmm. The head of our Department of, well, he wants us to call it Department of War, Pete Hegseth, just said that they are authorizing hormone therapy, testosterone therapy for troops that don't have enough testosterone. In other words, troops that aren't manly enough. They're going to authorize testosterone replacement therapy, TRP, for men in the military that may need more testosterone. And these stupid fucks don't realize that by definition, that is gender affirming care.
There's in a very interesting footnote to this, actually. It's a mandatory annual testosterone deficiency screening program for active duty service members aged 30 and older. It's mandatory.
Because you might not be man enough to be a soldier. A woman in Congress was speaking to Congress today, and she brought this up. This is how I know. I was watching C-SPAN because I have no life. And she said to the Congress people, what if we do this test in Congress? Are you man enough to be in Congress? Should you be forced to have gender affirming care because your testosterone is too low? Mitch McConnell's testosterone level is probably 2, because you lose it as you age. I mean, literally his wife has more testosterone than he does. And yet, that's if he's living. I'm still kind of a little, But anyway, so yes, Pete Hegseth has announced that they are going to start testing the military for testosterone, and if they don't have enough, they're going to give them hormone replacement. That is by definition gender affirming care. Period. End of story. And they don't understand that. They don't get it. This is how dumb these people are. And I can't think of one other country that tests its military for testosterone. Can you? I can't think of.
This is not something I've actually thought of looking into. It's an interesting question, but I doubt it.
Yeah. There. Believe me, there aren't any. They'd be afraid of the results, especially in Asia. Kidding.
Cute.
All right, go ahead before I talk about Troye Sivan and his underwear. Go ahead. Because that'll make international news.
So a federal... no, I don't do that one.
Come on. Throw it at me. I'm ready.
So Trinidad and Tobago's criminalization of gay sex has reached final appeal. Britain's Judicial Committee of the Privy Council heard the concluding appeal in activist Jason Jones's long-running effort to invalidate Trinidad and Tobago's colonial-era prohibition on consensual same-sex intimacy. The ruling could influence constitutional litigation elsewhere in the Caribbean, particularly where discriminatory colonial laws remain protected by legal, quote, saving clauses, unquote. Thoughts?
Has he won his appeal? Not yet?
Just pull it up here.
In other words, is same-sex sex still illegal in Trinidad and Tobago? Because I've always said, if you do it right, it should be illegal in every country, honey.
No final decision issued yet.
Yeah.
We're ruling as expected within 3 to 6 months.
We are the only species on the planet that thinks you can make consensual intercourse between two beings legal or illegal. There was a song in the 80s, people are still having sex, this AIDS thing is not working. They've since changed that lyric, by the way, but the original lyric was, people are still having sex, this AIDS thing is not working. I think of that song often because it really is the way that it is. There's always going to be gay people. There's always going to be gay sex. Your laws aren't working. Your discrimination's not working. You know, we're still here. We're still going to have sex, whether it's legal, illegal. If you do it right, it's illegal in 20 states. But it's never going to go away. And they've been trying. You would think they'd get in Senegal, Trinidad, you think they'd get the point. We're in the year 2026. There have been efforts since the dawn of man to stomp out homosexuality. Actually, that's not true. Early man didn't care either. So for the last 2,000 years, since the advent of Christianity, there has been effort after effort to stomp out the gays. And guess what? Hasn't worked. You would think they'd get the point, that they might as well just deal with us and allow us to live freely because we're going to be here no matter what they say and what they do or what they legislate. We're never going away. It's impossible for us to go away. We can't go away because we are natural, we are normal, and straight people keep making us. So we're never going to go away. And I don't understand how they don't get that. How all these privy councils and supreme beings and Supreme Court this and Supreme that and the Parliament this and the Parliament that, they think by their proclamation they're going to stamp out gayness. It hasn't worked yet.
Well, this is to another point I probably made in 2 prior sessions. Homosexuality is ancestral. So to change that to such a degree, to remove it, it would in some sense be changing what the nature of a human being is.
Right. And they can't do that. They've tried and they'd like to. They have searched for the biological root of being gay so they can fix it. But they haven't found one. And they can't stop it. And I don't understand why they keep legislating against it. There are so many other problems on this planet that we could be taking care of. And yet every week we come out here with a litany of governing bodies. These are people who are in power. They are seated presidents, vice presidents, not just in our country, but prime ministers and kings or whatever, a few queens. And they occupy their time with something that they cannot change. Isn't there something about give me the something to change the things I can, but to accept the things I cannot? They are not at that bottom line yet. You cannot change gayness. Accept it. Move on. But they can't. But why? This goes back to what I said. Why can't they? Because it either makes them money or gets them elected. That's why they can't. Because it either makes them money or gets them elected or both. And that's why the world cares. Otherwise, why does the world, I can't even get laid. I wish they'd be more concerned about that. But why does the world care what Karel does in his condo in Las Vegas with another man? It doesn't. It wouldn't be much. But, it doesn't. It's not until someone tells them to care that they care. MAGA didn't care about gays until they were told. MAGA didn't care about trans until they were told to care about trans. And now they got trans on the brain. In the UK, all the haters over there, they didn't care until they were told by a leader to care. No one cares about gayness until they're told to care about it. Otherwise, you're too busy in life to care about it. You got too many things to do.
Work, bills, other activist causes if someone is so inclined.
I
Religious
thought you were
services.
saying work. You better work.
That's the Rihanna version of it. It's the work.
Rihanna. Her name
It's
is
the
Rihanna. Say it with me.
Rihanna.
Not Rihanna.
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 So it's a silent H.
Ah.
So you gotta say you gotta say it like the British. Then
Rihanna.
you gotta remove the H's.
Work. Can I just tell you a story I'm obsessed with right now, and I don't even know why. I'm just obsessed with it. So there's this, we talked about it, Beartooth, this hard rock band, right? And the lead singer came out as gay. And now today, he has split from his wife of 14 years. He came out as gay like 4 weeks ago, and he's just now splitting from his wife. Did she think they could make it work? Share wardrobe? I mean, what did she think was good? Now, over those 14 years, he had to be having sex with her, didn't he? So is he bi? He's come out as gay. I don't think he's gay. You know why? A gay man would not have sex for 14 years with a woman. That's no.
It sounds pretty bi to me.
Yeah, it's like no.
What was the joke?
Not
What was the joke? Joke was, this is a real story actually. Someone coming to their talking to their boyfriend, and the boyfriend apparently likes ass play, and then going to the girlfriend, do you think he might be gay?
Yeah.
So I like it in the rear. Does that make me gay?
All these women who quote peg their man. You know what pegging is, right?
Yes, I do.
All these women that peg their man, you're fucking your gay husband. I hate to break it to you, but because
it's the whole thing,
Let's just be real here. I have blown many a straight man in my life. I have. Totally have. And trust me, you can't even get a finger near his other end. He's get it, so it's like, oh, peg me. Oh, I see. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's the thing. It's like, yes, if you have done one for a very long time, but you've struggled and come out finally as what you feel as your more authentic self, then you both. That's a more
note, the
reasonable.
Gays have adopted The Invite by Olivia Wilde as one of our own movies. Do you know what the movie is? Do you know what it's about?
No, but I know Olivia Wilde.
It's about group sex.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and The Invite is a euphemism for they're inviting them to, get jiggy with it. Now,
sort of a Craigslist thing.
This goes to how nobody cared. In the 70s, you could walk into a room where everybody was fucking, and you just threw the lube in the air, and wherever you landed, you landed. And boy, girl, whatever, didn't matter. It just, they were orgies. It just happened. We know in the times of Henry VIII and all of that on the royal courts that many a young boy had a way was had with. And so this movie, the Invite, it's now granted, they really only they kind of keep the husbands out of it. There's a lot of speculation about are the two wives gonna, and the husbands are, it would be hot to watch our wives, But I'm like, come on, turn it around on them, Olivia. Talk about how the husbands need to do each other. Come on. But we've adopted the Invite as our own. And by the way, it is being called Summer's Best Film. So if you get a chance to go see it, go see it. The Odyssey is coming out. Half those soldiers were gay. Proudly gay, but we're not supposed to talk about that. What else? In other gay news, Madonna debuted at #1 across the world, and we did that.
She must have one of the longest running successful musical records.
Well, gays did that.
Careers.
We did this. We made her #1. And her marketing team across the world was well aware that it was the gays that were going to do this. I mean, Grindr paid for her her Times Square performance, and that wasn't cheap.
Okay.
And I'm glad they did it because now they're broke because Lindsey Graham has died, and of course their stock plummeted. And oh, you don't get the joke, you poor thing.
Oh no! Explain.
You are aware that in Washington, D.C. right now, there are many gay male escorts that are going to have to go on unemployment after Lindsey Graham has died. You understand that that's how that's going to be.
Oh, good Lord.
He was gay. Everybody knew Lindsey Graham was gay. Everybody. Laura Loomer said this on her show. We all knew Lindsey was gay. Lindsey Graham was gay. We have documented cases of him hiring transgendered or male sex workers. Many have come out with the receipts and said, oh no, Lindsey Graham was gay. I feel badly that he was a 71-year-old person from South Carolina who felt he could never be honest because A, he was conservative, and B, where he came from. Look, in 1970, when Lindsey Graham was 18, you could not be openly gay in South Carolina. So I know why he was in the closet. He could have come out later, but I know why he was in the closet. And this speaks to a lot of politicians across the world who are closeted because they just feel they can't be honest. And they make anti-gay legislation. Like he did.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
People in Senegal voting on
Patreon is the way to show you care. Subscribe today if you dare. Keep the show on there. Patreon is the way. Now it's showtime.
All right. Cara Delevingne, another actress, since we seem to be entertainment themed this week, is the first out lesbian on the print cover of Playboy. Isn't that something?
Okay.
I wonder how they feel. I mean, you're a straight guy. And, you know, Playboy is supposed to be, you know, the sexy girls sort of thing. Barbra Streisand was on the cover of Playboy, by the way.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And there's excerpts from her. So she did an album called Superman. And on that album cover, she has really short white shorts and a Superman shirt. And on the cover of Playboy, she did a bunny picture, of course, with the rabbit ears and everything.
Yeah.
But then she also did it in her Superman outfit. And there was a couple that were too revealing, and they pulled them. Same with Dolly Parton. Dolly did Playboy, and there was a couple that they didn't print, and she gave those to her husband. But as a straight man, how do you feel that Cara Delevingne, the first out lesbian, is on the cover of Playboy?
No objection. Congratulations.
That's
you know,
because
I don't
every
even
straight man
look
thinks that all a lesbian needs is a good man. That's why that is.
Oh, please. I'm
not saying you.
I mean, I'm
believe
sure
that,
there's some that believe that.
A lot of straight guys think that all a lesbian needs is a good man.
In conversations, I would say it's come up a handful of tops times in all of my conversations.
I was not a handful of tops. Anyway, and other breaking news, lesbians masturbate less. I'm sure that you were interested in that. But
interesting.
It's likely because they're more satisfied with their partners, according to a study. So they enjoy sex with their partners so much that they don't have to masturbate while they're away. Mm-hmm. Do you consider masturbation cheating?
No.
I used to. That's how horribly possessive I used to be. One time I left for somewhere without Andrew, and we always went everywhere together. Always. And I left to go somewhere, and I came back home because I forgot something, and he was masturbating. And I got so hurt. Oh, my God, I got so hurt. I'm like, why couldn't you wait for me? I was going to be home, or why didn't we have sex before I left? Or, you know, and he's all, I'm just mad. And I gave him I feel so bad. This is one of those things in life that I feel very badly about. But when I was in my 20s and 30s, I was so insecure as a gay, because I was fat and always called ugly, and he was gorgeous, and I always thought that he could get better, and, you know, all this other stuff. And then people always told us, why are you with him? You could get so much better. So I was very insecure. Oh, yeah, we were told that to our face many times. People walked up in a bar. At the mine shaft in Long Beach when we were on KFI, a guy walked up to Andrew and said, you're gorgeous. Why are you with him? And pointed at me. When we went to a clothing optional resort in Palm Springs, I left the jacuzzi to go get our beverages, and I came back. And I went to get in, and this group of guys that were attracted to Andrew tried to form a wall between me and Andrew so I couldn't get to my husband. And I promptly moved them and said, he's mine, and if we do anything with any of you, it's with me and him, and not him by himself. So the gay community is vicious and mean that way. They really are. The gay men are just as horrible about looks as straight men are. They're terrible, which explains the story I wanted to, David Archuleta from American Idol. He's having a resurgence in fame. Almost every picture he's in, shirtless. Mateo Lane, talented comic, talented, and opera singer. Yes, and opera singer. Just did a stint on Broadway. And many publications linked his fame to get that role to him posting photos of himself in his underwear. And now Troye Sivan is coming back with a new album, and his new picture is him in a trench coat with lace panties on. It seems you can't be a gay artist and be successful unless you go shirtless. It's kind of sad. It's just sad. And why is that? It's because gay men judge other men just like straight men judge other women. Meaning they can look like Jabba the Hutt, but they still want their partner to look like some supermodel. It's very sad. Well, do we want more views? Here. Maybe we'll get more views now. Oh, God. Do I need a D cup or what? What's going on? Lord. Oh. I just can't do it. But it appears it's a trend now that gay men on Instagram, anywhere, they kind of have to be half naked now or in drag. Either in drag or half naked, or you're ignored. Look at Adam Lambert. He's got a great new record out. He's incredible singer, and yet he's not getting all the attention of the others. Why? Because he's fully clothed. I mean, he's real clothed. He looks like the Tin Man. He's like got all these clothes on. Yeah, I'll put this back on. No one wants to see that. I always say that I could be a reverse stripper. I go in naked and they throw money at me to put my clothing back on. All right. Do you have anything you want to close with?
No, it's been a relatively very busy week at the homestead here, and so I haven't been able to cover as much of the news as I would like to. But so far, out of many of the weeks that we've done this year, it's one of the least bad.
I think that's because you and I chose to concentrate on the more humorous sides of what's going on.
Sure.
And take a look at things as they really are. Like Africa is going to be Africa until someone tells them not to. And I know that sounds stupid, but they're going to keep making these stupid laws until someone of power, the United States, Canada, the UK, whatever, EU, until they step in and say, stop, or we're not going to deal with you. We're not going to export to you. We're not going to import your goods. When that happens, they'll stop, you know? And how do I say this? The world would like to make gay people's experience in society terrible. It would, given all the news and all the negativity. But we won't have it. And we never have. And we never will. Because even through all their adversity, we dance and sing, albeit shirtless now, but we dance and we sing and we create art and we create movies and we create literature and we create art of all kind, and we continue to be present in their world, in their boardrooms, in their offices, in, you know, everywhere they are. They can't escape us because we are everywhere. And so many of us now refuse to let them take our joy, especially if you're an older gay person, because you know they've been trying to your whole life and you just can't let them. That's why I do these every week with you, because no matter how bad these stories are, I am Karel. And I'll always be who you want to be, so long as it doesn't hurt anybody. Much love to Scott. Stay here on the show. My fans, my listeners love you now. So these shows are some of the highest rated.
It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view.
Let me get rid of that. Hold on.
Yours. Listen daily to the Karel Cast.
Say goodbye, so I'll get rid of all that hoopla. But truly, the This Gay Weeks are some of the highest rated on SoundCloud, on the Progressive Voices Network. And every time I do them on my regular show, everyone says, so great to see Scott. So glad Scott's okay. We get comments down below, you know, from people who are like, oh, you and Scott, you play well together, and so glad he's okay, and that sort of stuff. So, you know, it's important to have allies that get it. And that's why I do these, because, you know, you get it. And you also understand that as much as there's horror, that, you know, we're not going anywhere, and that these stories are going to always be there. and it's up to us to interpret them, but to also find a positive way to look at them. And that's why when I hear all this Africa, it's like, oh, fuck Africa. They're going to, you know what? They blow the way of the wind. You know, if the winds are pro-gay, then they're pro-gay. If the winds are anti-gay, they're anti-gay. You know, Mandela was, how do I say this? He had a complex relationship with the gay community. As much as he was about freedom and everything else, he struggled with accepting LGBTQ people. But he did. I'm not saying he didn't. I'm not saying he was a homophobe. But he wasn't an ally, so to speak, from the get-go. And I think that's because of where he was from and how he was raised and the age he was raised in. But certainly he evolved on it. Coretta Scott King, she at one time didn't want the gay rights movement equated to the black movement that was started by her husband. And then her children quickly schooled her on that and said, no, it's the same fight. You know,
so it's like,
you know, it's the same fight, Mom. And what she didn't like was people were speaking for Martin, because a lot of gay people believe that Martin Luther King Jr. would be a large gay ally in today's world, that he would advocate for gay rights. Everything I know about the man, I believe he would. Even though he was a preacher, I believe that he would still advocate for LGBTQ rights. I don't believe he would be for the punishment of anybody based on who they are. The wife didn't like people speaking for him, but I believe that. So we go through these cycles. We go through it's all bad, then it's kind of okay, then it's all good, then it's kind of okay, then it's all bad. We have really great leaders and really great allies like Obama and Biden, and and then we get terrible people like Trump. We have places like Africa which are fucked, and then we have the EU which is not. So as a gay person, you just sort of look at it all and say to yourself, it's always a juggling act, and it's always a balance. And sometimes it's out of balance, too much anti-gay, anti-trans. Other times it's 50-50, and sometimes we win more than we lose. But we know not to give up. And that's why we have to talk about these stories, because we can't give up. We have to keep supporting these people, supporting the Rainbow Railroad, supporting people in Africa that need our help to fight these laws, supporting people in the Ukraine, the soldiers there who are fighting for equality after going off and fighting for their country. So we have to keep fighting for these people so they can have better lives. And that's, I think, why we do this weekly segment, is to make sure people know that they're still out there fighting for better lives. Because every negative story we do, there's always someone fighting it. There's always somebody that's in opposition or speaking out against it or trying to get it changed. And that's the important part of every one of the stories. In the Ukraine right now, there are soldiers who are rallying the military to give them the full benefits they deserve for them and their partners, because they went and fought the war for them. And we have to support them, and we have to rally behind them, and we have to say, yeah, we're with you. And that's why these stories are important, so we can find out who needs our help. All right. Stay safe. Stay away from bombs. And we will talk next week. I am Karel. Be who you want to be, so don't hurt anybody.